Jimmy Carter, a real Christian. Hey guys, it's John here in my Sit in Love room. I think it's the perfect room to be in to talk about Jimmy Carter. There is no argument. Jimmy Carter did more for the world after he was president than in the 4 years that he was. After he was president, he created Habitat for Humanity, and he did charitable works like crazy. He lived the love that Jeshua spoke of. Now, in the title and in the hook of this video, I did the air quotes around the word Christian. I do that because I don't believe in messiahs. I believe that Jeshua was an amazing man who found his divinity and was showing us ours. But the lesson of Jeshua's work is about living a loving life and being love. I leave you one commandment: love one another. Jimmy Carter's life has been a testament to loving one another. He reaches out to help people in need, the people who can't get a home. He actually created habitats for humanity. He didn't say habitats for Christians. He didn't say habitats for people who believe as I do. He habitats for humanity. He was focused on loving everyone and helping people up and giving them a helping hand. He never came out and did vitriol against Donald Trump or any other person of the opposite party, him being a Democrat. He never did anything or said anything detrimental about them or never called them a name. When Donald Trump was elected in 2016, Jimmy Carter went on Stephen Colbert and literally said, "I'm praying for the president. I'm praying that he'll find love in his heart and he'll be a loving individual and be a good president for all Americans." He didn't allow the fears and the anxieties and the stresses of the world affect him or the way he loved. And I have such utmost respect for Jimmy Carter and the way that he lived, because I truly, even though we may not have believed the same ideas about Jeshua, he believed he was the Christ and the Messiah, and I believe he was this amazing man who taught us the way to live. I don't think we're far off. But as I often say in videos, you know them by their fruit. Jimmy Carter's life is not a tree of fruit. It's a million orchards of fruit. He literally created the sweetness and nectar of loving humanity by his very actions, what he did in life. He didn't hold back from loving anyone because of any ideology or technique or religion. He just simply loved, and he took the world as an example of humanity. The fact that he called it Habitat for Humanity is such a huge step in the right direction of focusing on all of us rather than the select few that believe the same as I do. I think he is an absolute perfect example of Christian, if you take the word Christian to mean living the example of Jesus, Jeshua. I think he totally lived his life in a way that was so beautifully effective and wonderful that he ended up creating a life to emulate, to try to help others, to put yourself into a pathway of doing good. I just said try to help others. He didn't try, he did. He put his thoughts, words, and deeds fully into action. He took the pedestal that he created by being a president, and he turned it into something bigger than the presidency. He's created something so much more beautiful and so much more loving after he left the presidency. But having that platform, he said, what do I do with this platform to help humanity in a bigger way? How do I get to express my love and compassion to the world? I think that when you look at Jimmy Carter, no matter what you think of his politics or what you think of his presidency, you can't deny that the work he did after that was beautiful, loving, caring, and affected the world in positive ways. There's very few people who see him and get mad because all they see is a man who's doing good things. And in his 90s, he was still on work sites at Habitat for Humanity, wearing his hard hat, hitting his hammer. And when you saw the videos of him, he wasn't just standing there for a photo op. He was actually working. He was actually doing stuff. He's 100 years old. He passed away. I think that was 100 years of grace to have that wonderful man in the world. And I think that more people can emulate that Christian. People often hear me say about something about Christians, and they'll get offended because they tend to think in broad generalizations. I think there's beautiful people in all religions. And I think that when someone is living a loving life and they're whatever religion they're in, I think they found God. I think they found their direct connection to source, because it's their fruit we know them by that proves that what they believe is true, right? When someone is not living the loving life and just defending their faith, they're kind of losing the teachings of Jeshua, right? I'm not offended by Christians in any way, shape, or form. I'm offended by judgment and hate, and it was not within Jimmy Carter at all. He was open to everyone. He was open to humanity. He lived a life of joy and compassion. And whenever you saw him, he always had a big smile on his face, and he was always doing something to help someone else. And that's what Jeshua did. He worked with the lepers. He helped the Roman soldier and helped heal the Roman soldier's daughter. And he those stories of compassion for all humanity without delineations of religion or race or anything, or gender. There was not a judgment or a delineation. It was just love and compassion. So Jimmy Carter is a wonderful example of his Christian faith, because he took it to mean love one another. And to me, I look at Jimmy Carter as a prime example of what we all can lean into in life. We can all be loving and caring. We can all help humanity in a positive way. And like I say, when I use the word Christians, it's not about all Christians in a broad general sense. It's about the people who are judging and calling names. If I'm saying that, my mom, master's degree in liturgy, did beautiful, loving, caring works. I don't think she was a bad person in any way, shape, or form. She was devoutly Christian, a master's degree in liturgy, right? But she lived that sort of life where she would go out and she would feed the people who were struggling. She would help the people. She worked tirelessly to help people, delivered Meals on Wheels on the side of doing her job at the church. She did a lot of amazingly good things. And Jimmy Carter, as another Christian, did what Jeshua said and loved one another and put it out there. He put the works above the dogmas. And that to me is important. I don't care what faith you're in. If you're loving and caring and you're treating people well, I'm behind you. And I think that Jimmy Carter was and is a fine example of the teachings of Jeshua. And that's my thought on this. You guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya. Bye.